Today, I'm going to get rid of half of my book collection. So over the past few years, I've been able to accumulate a decent amount of books. Now, I don't have an entire wing of my house dedicated to my library, but a couple hundred books makes me feel like I'm actually somewhat educated, like I'm a real learned man. But recently, I've noticed a problem, and it only seems to be getting worse. So every now and again, I'll come across an article on Medium or see a post on Instagram, and you know the ones that say 10 must-read books to guarantee success, or 6 books that Jeff Bezos recommends you buy from him. And of course, I click on it, I read through it, and immediately start adding all of them to my Amazon cart. And before I know it, there's 4 or 5 boxes at my doorstep, and I'm all jazzed up. Like, yes, hell yeah, more books. Getting smarter, Mensa, here I come. And a week goes by, then a few more, and about a month or so later, I'm lucky to have read 2 out of those dozen books I just bought. And those other 10, psh, come on, I'm gonna get those. Definitely, I'm gonna read them, I promise. Well, I think I am. Until that next Medium article or that next Instagram post about the books that I must read. Be honest with me, how do you feel about my book collection upstairs?
You want me to be honest?
Yeah.
I think you're a hoarder.
So you think it's a problem?
Yeah, I think you need to go through them and get rid of half of them.
So you don't think my book collection is impressive?
No, I want them gone so that I can use the storage. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for your feedback. So most of you don't know my wife, but as you may know by now, she has a thing for what we like to call brutal honesty, to the point where I think she might actually enjoy it. But she's right, I have books everywhere, and it is all figuratively and literally adding up. And I knew I had to make a change. Which brings us here, and something that I figure is unavoidable at this point, and something that is long overdue, and that is a good old book audit. Brr, brr, brr. Yeah, pretty exciting stuff. All right, so here's the deal. I'm going to be taking all of the books in my bedroom and breaking them down into 4 specific buckets. Number 1, books that I've read and would read again. Number 2, books I've read and wouldn't read again. Number 3, books I haven't read but want to read. And lastly, number 4, books I haven't read and definitely won't read. So the goal here is simple. Trim the fat, stop the bleeding, basically just take inventory of what I already have. And also to give myself a little bit of breathing room, and also to make sure that my wife doesn't kick the shit out of me. Okay, shall we? Okay, so the first step here is to basically figure out where I'm gonna put all the shit. And I'll be honest, I'm a little overwhelmed, but I think I need to figure out where I'm actually gonna put the books that I wanna keep and where I wanna keep the stuff that I wanna get rid of. So maybe we can just keep all the good books over there and take all the books I wanna get rid of, put them in the laundry bin. Sure work, keep that one. YouTube Secrets, quite ironic, but we'll keep it. Social Animal, one of my all-time favorites, definitely a keep. Just got through that first bookshelf, and yeah, I'll be honest, I didn't expect that to be as hard as it was, but as you can see, my pile for the stuff that I want to keep is still drastically outweighing the stuff that I want to get rid of. One thing I did not think through was, I don't know how I'm gonna get rid of that, but I'll figure it out later. pretty much all of it. Got everything off my shelves and in 2 piles. The keep and the get rid. Thought it was pretty interesting, the gap between the keep and not keep. Slowly getting closer and closer. It's the problem in my life, eh? So basically what we did is took everything off the shelves, broke them into 2 piles, the keeps and the don't keeps. And now the fun part, put everything back on the shelves. Wow, that was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I think you guys can see the whole goal here was to organize the shelf just to make sure that the stuff that I actually keep up there, they're books that I plan on reading. They're books that I've read and enjoyed, or books that, I plan on reading in the near future. I think it's important to just get rid of the stuff that you are honest with yourself about, that, hey, listen, like, I'm probably not going to read this book. And that's okay. I think at the end of the day, it's the understanding that we all have limited amount of time, and sometimes our ideas about what we want to read and what we plan on reading, sometimes we get a little bit too ahead of ourselves, and it's okay to acknowledge that. So every now and again, maybe just do a quick purge, do some inventory on the current book stacks, and be honest with yourself. Like, is this going to be something that I'm going to read, or something that I've read and actually plan on reading again? And for the ones that I will not read again and get rid of, I got a couple ideas. Number one, probably donate them. Come up with a couple lists of some local book donations. Maybe there's some services or programs that actually take on books like this, maybe for charitable cause. I think that'd be great. Number two, I could always sell them, and I could put them on the website that I'm developing right now. And maybe if anyone's interested in reading these, just because I'm not planning on reading them doesn't mean that you won't find value in them. Again, at the end of the day, everyone's got different tastes in books, so there could be a lot of buried treasure in there. And if you're interested in them, make me an offer. I think we could work something out. And the third option here, if no one's gonna take them on while I try to donate them, or no one's gonna actually buy them, I could possibly create the biggest bonfire that anyone's seen this side of the wall, right? That was a little Game of Thrones reference. For those who didn't get it, probably not acted out too well, but no, I probably won't do that. I'll make sure I dispose of them in an honorable way. Okay, so what did I learn from this process, besides the fact that I might have too many books here? Number one, probably best to pump the brakes a little bit on the book buying. Liken it to you going to a Chinese food buffet. Always go to the dessert tray and you pop Jell-Os and some Rice Krispie treats, and you're like, absolutely, I'm definitely gonna eat this. Even after the fact that I've had 3 full plates of lo mein and chicken fingers and cheeseburger sliders. But it's probably not gonna happen. And at the end of the day, it's probably for the best. Number 2 takeaway from this is take more time to actually read the books that you own, instead of constantly having this idea that the best book that you could read is one that you don't currently own yet. I mean, half the time that I'm out there buying books on Amazon, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, oh, I don't have anything to read. I kind of sound like my wife when she's trying to go shopping. She's like, oh, well, I don't have anything to wear. Like, I just have to get new clothes. Kind of the same thing here. It's like, you actually do. In my case, yeah, I actually have a ton of good books. They're just buried deep within that pile that I've now just made it much more organized. And number 3 is to share the wealth, right? I think the idea of giving these books away or donating them to other people, it makes the process seem well worth it, right? Like, if I'm not gonna read them, doesn't mean that no one else can't read them. And I think that's the great thing about books, is everyone has different opinions about them, but they should be things that are shared, right? Like, books are things that shouldn't be a solitary experience. They should be something that people discuss. They should be things that people share. Most importantly, I think books should be read. So 2021, it's a new year, it's a fresh start. Hopefully I stay on the straight and narrow, stay on the wagon and don't get caught up in Bezos's book factory. But I will hopefully look back on this video as something to keep me honest for the future. Hold on 1 second. Ooh, new Medium article. Must read books for 2021. All right, well, I'm just gonna take a quick look.